Hi, my name is Carlos Gomes, I'm an audio engineer, and this is my podcast for producer Danger Mouse. Brian Joseph Burton was born in July 29, 1977, in White Plains, New York. When he was young, his family moved to Atlanta, and there, as a child, he developed an interest in many kinds of music, including hip-hop, trip-hop, grunge, and psychedelic rock. But it wasn't until his college days that he would actually start creating music with a project called Pelican Cities. He would do DJ sets in the university he was in, and he would later come out with the name Danger Mouse. He adopted his name since he would come out to the audience as a mouse, and he would perform his DJ set in there since he was too shy to look at the people in the crowd. Later in 2003, he would sign with a label called Lex Records with that same name. His first project with that label was the one of a collaboration with rapper Gemini called Pop Ghetto Life. The album was actually well received by the critics, and it reached a decent audience. I'm an urban entertainer under hot lines. I don't wanna see no win because it's not right. I'm just a brother who never compromises integrity. But it wasn't until 2004 when Danger Mouse was finally recognized widely by one of his projects called The Grey Album. The Grey Album was a project that consisted of getting the a cappella vocals of Jay-Z's The Black Album and combining them with samples of the White Album by the Beatles. This is a project that became insanely popular and got a lot of downloads from the internet, and that caught the attention of the Beatles label EMI, which would go after him because he didn't have the rights of the Beatles samples. But that wouldn't stop Danger Mouse from becoming one of the most critically acclaimed and ambitious producers of the decade with that project. It was actually the Great Album that called the attention of Gorillaz frontman Damon Albarn, who would later call Danger Mouse to produce Gorillaz' sophomore album, Demon Days. This would be an album that included well-known hits by the band like Feel Good Inc., and it would later earn Danger Mouse his first 2 nominations as a producer. The nominations were of Record of the Year and Producer of the Year. After Demon Days, Danger Mouse decided to go on another project with his friend CeeLo Green called Nar Sparkly. They released a debut album called Saint Elsewhere that included the hit song Crazy. The song became insanely popular, and the album and the song earned Danger Mouse his first 2 Grammy wins. After creating this project, he eventually started working with even more artists during the years. He worked with Modern Guild with Beck, he worked with Broken Bells, and he also did a project with Daniel Lupi called Rome, which was based on creating some kind of concept album based on spaghetti westerns. Also in this album, he had the opportunity to work with Jack White and Norah Jones. And also, after collaborating with so many artists, by 2011 Danger Mouse had already won his Grammy of Producer of the Year. So working with all of these artists would be something that would label Danger Mouse as one of the most prolific and also creative producers of our generation. And he recently has kept it going, especially last year when he produced Woodstock, an album by Portugal the Man that contained the hit single Feel It Still. This would become the band's first mainstream hit, and it would reach the top 10 Billboard charts. Danger Mouse last year also worked on a project with Baby Driver the movie, and that would also earn him a Golden Globe nomination. So thank you guys for watching this podcast. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed doing it, and I sign out. Thank you. Autobiographically bastards, pain passes, put a pain in your